So here's how this works, right? Labels come in and finance the records. Mm-hmm. And have y'all ever talked about this with a musician?
I mean, Ernest,
full disclosure,
Ernest
I don't watch the music. I watched Ernest.
Ernest has dabbled with it a little bit, but
Okay.
I
This
mean,
is the most organized we've been.
yeah,
on
the way
so far.
you said
We usually
finance.
dabble in and out and get out. We're keeping this thing. Besides my
like that,
mom's
Jack?
dick picture,
Yeah.
this is a straight
The
line.
word finance hit me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So continue.
Right. So it's
the
like,
label finances the record.
yeah, the label finances the record, right? And because of that, they own the record.
Mm-hmm.
And
Full
ownership-
100%.
Well, not 100%. There's a deal involved with it. So, like, let's say that it'd be like you say, let's say we're going to do a Bussin' With The Boys album.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, let me sign y'all. We'll do it under my shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, check this out. Here's the deal, y'all. I'll finance the record and I'll give you an advance if you need it. Like, if you need a draw, or I'll give you an advance, go cut your own record, right? So I'll be like, yo, here's $500,000, go cut your record. But we're going to do and we'll promote it, market it on the label side. We'll do everything for you. All you got to do is turn in the record. We'll pay for the videos. We'll pay for everything. But on the side of it, we're going to do and this is a generous deal now. We're going to do an 80-20, 70-30. Me get 70, y'all get 30. Okay?
Sure.
For me financing the record. And we're going to recoup the $1 million or $500,000 at the rate of the deal. Let's say $1 million because it's easy math. And at the rate of the deal, this is where they fuck you. Young artists, please listen. I am giving away game. I could charge for this. This is where they fuck you. They charge at the rate of the deal. Mm-hmm. So that means that every dollar that's made, I'm going to take my 70 cents out of it. And then I'm going to apply your 30 cents towards the $1 million you owe me.
Right. And
You see what I'm saying?
Once that's paid off, you start getting
Then
paid.
once that's paid off, you start getting your 30 cents. Now think about that for a second as far as just us as grown men. Like a bank loan. Or like a homie loan, right? Like just your homie gives you $100,000 and go, man, I don't know, fuck, give me 120 back if you can do it in 3 months.
Yeah.
We're talking about somebody making $700,000 and their $1 million back before you participate in any of the money.
So if the whole project costed $1 million, like they take out their 700,000, then your 300,000 starts to pay for the rest of the expenses.
Exactly.
And then whenever it gets
Whenever you get
to
$1 million, yeah, right. Whenever your 30% pays the $1 million off, then we go into a 70-30. But where the labels fuck you is it's an unlimited line of credit when you're doing well. So young artists don't realize what's happening, right? So they're just like, hey man, I want to shoot a video and have a helicopter and jump out of it like James Bond and blow a car up. The label's like, no problem. It only costs $250,000. Here's $250,000 more. Mm-hmm. Then these artists start to get in a situation where they're never getting royalties on their records. Now the label owns the masters of the record. Now the masters is the right to sync something, to put it on a TV show. Mm-hmm. The masters is the right to where it lives and doesn't live, to break it down in a beat format, to whatever they want to do with the master recording, right? Artist doesn't own the master. He's only participating in the royalties of the album. Mm-hmm. When I say 70-30, that's a strong deal. It's a lot of artists on Music Row right now with 95.5s.
95.5s,
bro.
dude.
Right?
So you don't make nothing.
They don't. You fucking.
So how do you make money then? And then
touring and merch?
So how does
But then
touring
they got this
work?
new thing called a 360 deal, which is called ancillary participation, which means now not only do I want 95% of what your streaming does. I want 15% of what your touring does, gross. I want 15% of what your merch does, gross. I want 15% of your appearance fee, gross. I want 15% of everything you do, gross.
So, okay.
And the
Two
name,
questions.
they'll own your name, Taylor. That's deeper. Imagine now, not only do I own this,
So you don't own Jelly Roll?
I own Jelly Roll.
No, I'm
I
saying
never
if you
signed
were to
it.
sign
Exactly. I wouldn't own Jelly Roll.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to go open a Jelly Roll bar, I would have to ask their permission to put
And
my
pay them
name
their
on the bar.
royalties, give
and
them
pay
50%
their,
gross.
or more.
Yeah.
Depending on what the deal was with the name, because the name could be a different thing.
So not like the Jason Aldean bar down there, the Florida Georgia Line bar down there. I don't know their deals, but based on one of the things you might be saying is that could be owned by the record label actually.
What's really happening is they took a licensing deal, so they have nothing to do with these bars. Dirks is the only one I know who's pretty hands-on. And the licensing deal could be 15% of the the net of the year.
Now,
right?
when you say Dirks is pretty hands-on, he's the only one that you know that's hands-on. What does that mean?
Yes, sir.
That he's
Meaning
more
that
hands-on.
He's in his bar, he actually has equity stock. In his bar.
Got you.
Where the other guys, like
others that get
Jason
licensing.
Aldean's bar, could be Ernest bar in
Right.
5 years. When his licensing fees up, Ernest will probably be the biggest artist in Nashville. I hope. That's our boy.
Let's hope. Let's definitely hope.
So let's say
He's
Ernest.
one of the boys.
Yeah, he's one of the boys. So let's say Ernest is the biggest artist in town. And they go, okay, it's no longer Jason Aldean bar. It's Ernest bar. You know, I'd love to see a day where Music Rose is Ernest and Hardy's. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like where the Broadway is the new guys, right? You know, so it's like, and then they come to them and say, hey, man, we'll give you, you know, for your name's sake, we'll give 15% of the net of what this thing does. Depending on the label deal, the Jelly Roll bar now at 15% of the net of that, let's say that bar makes, my net is $3 million, $4 million a year. The label comes in, and if they own my name, like I know one artist in town, I cannot say his name. We'll talk about it when the camera's off.
Sure.
That literally gave up his whole name. That label could just come right in and take them $3 million.
Just like that.
Like that.
That's tough for that.
Holy
He
shit.
doesn't
dude.
own his own name.
That's hard to hear.
And it's his government name. It's not like Jelly Roll's a moniker, right?
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, imagine like Taylor Lewan, Will Compton. Like, I own the name Will and William Compton.
Yeah.
That's the name I own. Anytime you put Will Compton on something and try to sell it, I'm allowed to step in and flex and go, hold on now, you know I own the name Will Compton. We should work something out about it.
I'm gonna need
It's like,
30
this
cents
is
down the
fucking-
dollar.
My mama calls me Will.
Yeah.
This is the name my mother gave me. My father, I was named Will. Like, it's fucked up.
And he gave that individual, he or she, gave away that opportunity. Now,
Do you feel like
how are these things not? Sorry, I want to get this off because I want to make sure I ask it. How are artists not getting together and saying, well, this is obviously unfair? And how is there an artist union? Is there a way that you guys can start unionizing and negotiating not just one genre like rap, but all genres to say, this is how we're going to work labels. From now on, it's a 50-50 or a 51-49 label, and it's going to be X, Y, and Z, and kind of put more in a fine print, kind of like our CBA is.
Right. So what they're going to end up doing is labels will turn into distributors in the future. It's already happening. Right? Like,
Label certain distributors like Spotify, like Apple Music.
yeah,
like
but what they
YouTube.
do is they
like
service
big
these.
like Big Loud?
Yeah, exactly. And
So
they'll
Big Loud
service-
turns into what?
Well, they're doing more distribution than they used to. So like where Universal used to be record deal or no deal, the deals I have on my table from these labels are distribution deals. And this is probably, my manager's gonna be like, I fucking hate you. You got to work on this podcast. Just started telling all the business. But it's like,
He's
they'll
a fan
come
of
in
the
and
pod,
go-
by the way. He probably won't mind.
Yeah, huge fan.
Shouts to the boy.
What's up, Caleb? But they'll be like, yo, check this out. They'll be like, hey man, we'll distribute your record to all the DSPs, digital service providers, Spotify, Apple Music, etc. We'll work the record.
Yeah.
We'll use our relationship and our in-house offices stuff for, I can't legally say the percentage, but let's pretend it's like 90-10.
Yeah.
We're pretending though, right?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So
Yes.
let's just say like it's just something that cool,
Yeah.
that unheard of. 90 my way, 10 their way.
Yeah.
That's what the deals I'm getting now. Hypothetically, if a percentage like that were to exist,
Right.
per the non-disclosure, I'm not allowed to say. But
Sure.
it's something of that nature. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Where I was willing to take an 85-15, them getting 85 6 years ago when I was dead broke and just needed help.
Right.
And that's where they catch these artists and fuck them.
Yeah.
They're still down in the mud.
They see the talent and go, this kid's going to work. Let's invest in him now. Let's sign the deal now. Let's put him in the Hucklebuck. You know what I'm saying? Let's tie him up for 4, 5, 6, 7 albums, something crazy, and a fucking 70-30.
So the distribution, if it's changing to distribution, how are the labels going to go now monetize that and make sure that they get their same things?
Well, they'll obviously have to start making less money, right? And the artist will be in charge. It's going to happen. We're the beginning of it. I'm not saying this in an arrogant way. I say this in like in the bottom of my heart way. I think the deal that I'm going to end up signing that we'll talk about as soon as I see that not running,
Yeah.
will be something that I believe will go down in history of Nashville. Like it'll be a turning point for artists where artists will start going into labels and saying, hey man, I want the Jelly Roll deal.
Right.
If you can do it for
Let me get that Jelly
you can
Roll.
do it for me.
It's the same way.
I really believe that.
It's the same thing they do in the NFL.
Right.
Now, for players to start getting more and more money, they need the next guy up to have the biggest contract in NFL history.
Right.
You get those guys doing it, and then that's how money gets
There's
bigger and
always
bigger.
a bigger contract.
Yeah, there's always
Yes,
a bigger contract. When I signed my deal 4 years ago, I was number one. Now I'm not even close to top 5. I might be. I might not even top 10 anymore. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But that's how you keep the money rolling. That's how you, as a group, collectively, keep the ball rolling in your direction that you want. For people to walk in and say, I want the jelly roll deal.
Yeah.
Right.
Comparatively,
Exactly.
it seems like
There was a moment where
Structurally as
people
well.
came in and said, and it'd be short-lived, like yours, but there was a moment where people came in and said, hey, man, especially linemen, they were like, yo, man, we want that fucking Taylor Lewan deal.
Right.
Like, y'all seen what Taylor, like, motherfuckers gossip. Like, yo, you seen what just happened with Taylor?
And the issue,
Like, yo, that shit's out there. You know what I'm saying?
the thing with NFL money is that when people say 5-year, blah, 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 if someone signed a 5-year, $120 million deal, everyone sees $120 million. The most important thing is not your APY, which is average per year. Most important thing is guaranteed at signing, and then your first 3 years money.
Right.
So that is the most important thing. Like, you don't have to be the highest paid dude, but if your structure is good, that's how you're bulletproof to make your money. A lot of dudes just want to have the highest paid contract.
So
They
can
want
say
that
they have the
something
highest
70.
deal.
So they say they have the highest deal, get the cool poster, maybe have a milk commercial or ad in a magazine,
Right.
and then 2 years from now you're getting cut.
But their
'cause your
back
patent number's
3
too
years
high.
are the highest.
Yeah. And so those are the years you're either renegotiating and have a smaller contract or you're cut.
Right.
So it's a finicky world,
It
the
is.
talent versus
And even in the
business.
even in
no,
the
it is. Yeah, it's arts versus commerce, man. And I am dead set against artists being exploited. It's something that bothers me in my soul, man. Like, I hate to see an artist when somebody like, it's got to be like that with y'all, right? Like, when a motherfucker who's never thrown a football in his goddamn life tries to come in and tell you what you're worth, and you're like, hold on, dog. You've never fucking once in your life came out here on a Sunday.
Right.
You've never once had the fucking Alabama shakes I get out here. You've never once dealt with the intensity I deal with out here. And you're telling me what the fuck I'm worth?
They want to put your
Because
value.
you went to motherfucking Harvard and know something about money? You can
Right.
suck my dick soft, dog. This is fucking what I do.
Put a
You know
count
what I'm
on
saying? It's like when people tell me, like, come in and you tell me, hey, man, this is how this should work. Man, have you ever played a guitar?
Yeah.
Have you wrote 1,000 songs and 900 of them motherfuckers been horrible?
yeah.
Don't talk to me. I got a hard drive. I got a graveyard of songs I'd never play for y'all right now. We're homies, I feel like, already. Fuck, we've talked about mother sucking dick and everything.
Yeah.
We gotta be
We've gotten
friends
deep,
now,
man.
To be
right?
honest with you, when you bring it up right away, though, I feel like that's something you lead with. So I don't know if that makes it super close or not.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
how I feel like it couldn't get no. I wouldn't tell you a story of my mama sucking dick
Yeah.
if I wasn't cool with you.
Yeah,
I appreciate
I'm an
you
open
sharing
book,
it with
but,
the
yeah,
world.
absolutely.
We're back.
Right.
Full fucking circle. Dude. 40 minutes
But
into this thing.
it's like, dude, I just, it's like I just couldn't imagine a world where the artists don't have control. It's time for the artists to take control in our business.
Yeah.
I don't want to see an artist get exploited.
You need some of those pioneers too that are like that kind of disclose some of that as well, because a lot of times guys just don't know what everybody else is doing. Like going in the NFL, you kind of know what structure you're going to get into. There's minimums, there's this and that. There's not that kid
Things are
kind
slotted
There's not
in a lot
that
of
kid
ways.
kind of playing in the field and scouts just go by and see him and be like, oh, let's take advantage of him and get 90% of it's pretty much like IP, intellectual property, right?
Right,
Similar with like podcasting. There's like brands who own an IP and then also talent who owns their IP, to where it seems like in the distribution world, it's more of like that split revenue deal. Like, hey, you still own Jelly Roll and your intellectual property of it all, but now you will work with a label that will kind of give you an audience or give you more of an audience and throw money in the right buckets.
Right, exactly.
Is that kind of what it is?
Yeah, their thing is they are willing to offer what you can't get, because there are some things that are hidden behind relationships that an artist can't have, right? That are just years of like Spotify.
So
I don't normally watch what I say, but I'm walking like
use your example.
Spotify is close to being the new radio. And there's going to come a moment where your relationship with the radio will determine where your artist gets placed on the radio.
Sure.
Right.
Okay.
So I am fearful that the artists are going to struggle with that. Like these big playlists, radio is becoming null and void. Right? Country radio exists because it's still a button pushing industry, but it's becoming less and less, right? Like we're finding artists on our phones now. You're finding artists through friends, through Instagram.
TikTok, Instagram, all that stuff. What do you mean by a button pushing industry? What is that when you say country music is a button pushing industry? I don't understand
dude,
that.
This is crazy, Taylor. They can go literally find a guy right now on Broadway.
Yeah.
Pick him up, bring him in the office.
And say you're the dude now.
You're the dude, man. We're
this
gonna
haircut,
put you with the best.
Put this on.
We're gonna
your
put you with the best songwriters.
Yep.
We're gonna get you the best song. We're gonna go to country radio and spend millions of dollars, and you're gonna have the #1 song in the country on country radio in the next 12 months.
So they get to pick and choose, but couldn't any industry do that?
Well, it's turning less into rap. See, rap was different. right? Because rap was found in the streets initially.
Yeah.
You would find good rap songs in the club, and then it would translate to radio. So like when a song got big on rap radio, we'd already heard it in the club 6 months ago. Radio was late. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where country music is like a traditional country audience hears this new song for the first time on the radio, not somewhere else. Now rap has now went to streaming and artist direct. So you find the artist, you find the song, and then you grow with the song. So now the song, like the Baby's like the biggest rapper in the world. But you remember when he dropped his first song and you were riding with him through that, where country music's not so much that way.
These guys come out of nowhere. And do
For lack of a
things.
better term, it's more corporate in the,
Exactly.
in the country
It's
world.
way more corporate, way more buttoned up.
So it's like if I had a shitload of money and I was in the country world or a big label, whatever it is.
Excuse me.
And I wanted to be like, all right, this is the write-ups of songs. Like you say, you're a writer. So if I want to, what do you call it? Catalog?
You're right.
So if it's like, I'm going to go buy Jelly Roll's catalog and then I'm going to find somebody that we can kind of control their intellectual property, that would be the way to do it. It's
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
buy that. Okay. Had to spend X million dollars to buy that.
Yep.
Cost a lot of money, but let's go find this person
Yeah.
that doesn't know who they are yet.
Yep.
Put them behind that song. And then we kind of control that. And we're kind of betting on making money off buying your,
Absolutely. Or a publisher. So you'll have a publisher who will sign a writer. Like, I love you, Ernest. I'm sorry I have to reference you because you're our boy and it's the easiest one to reference. Because we all know Ernest. Ernest is arguably, I would argue with somebody right now that he's the best songwriter in Nashville.
he's on
Not
them
me,
lists that are like
right?
top 3.
I'm just saying, right? I would argue with anybody that Ernest is the best songwriter in Nashville right now. And say Ernest writes a bunch of songs, right? He turns them into his publisher because that's part of their deal, and Ernest gets a piece of whatever the publisher plugs, right?
Okay.
A pretty good piece from my understanding, or from what I hear, only I would assumptually know, because I'm sure he's not allowed to say, but heard he got a good deal.
Yeah.
Speculation. So it's like that's where our business is different than your business. They hide us behind NDAs. Where you sign a big deal, man, that's just on ESPN.
That's everywhere.
You know what I'm
can
saying?
You can look up.
Oh,
me and
yeah,
Will
right-
made the last
right
10
away.
years.
Right,
Yeah.
where we sign a deal and it comes with a sheet of paper that says you can never speak of this deal. But let's say he got a good deal.
Okay. That makes
That makes a
sense.
lot more sense because then people won't be able to go say, I want the Jelly Roll deal.
True.
You can't go look at the structure
Because
of
we're
the
always,
contract.
anytime we have an artist on too, we're always kind of curious of some of these, some of the getting in the weeds of it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you can never really get too
I say
too
this with
far into
respect,
it.
man. A lot of them couldn't get in them weeds with you, Bubba.
That's what
they
I'm
don't
saying.
know enough
And-
about their business. They
Right.
sign a deal, they hide behind
Oh,
management,
shit,
but they don't
yeah.
know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.